Home is Here on PBS Hawaiʻi is sponsored by Hawaii Leadership Forum, HEI, the Olson Trust, and Pasha Hawaii.
Aloha, I'm Kala'i Miller. For nearly half a century, Aloha Stadium stood as Hawaii's gathering place. Its rusted beams and weathered seats were home to countless shared experiences that can't be replicated. Wear and tear through the years took its toll on the structure, but when Aloha Stadium was built in the 70s, the design was ahead of its time.
First thing that I feel when I come out here is the crowd. I hear the crowd.
Steps out of the grasp of the tackler, down the sidelines at the 30, to the 20. He will score!
I can still see all the fans. I can still see all my teammates, all the energy. It was special. It was special.
The versatility of this place is insane. What other venue could you see football games, concerts, mud bogs and monster trucks, pro wrestling? I remember seeing Hulk Hogan over here, and that was awesome.
It hosts the Great Aloha Run, where people come down that tunnel for the finish line on this field, and that was for 40 years.
We started doing the graduations because some of the schools couldn't get into Blaisdell.
Whoever decided to have the largest swap meet was brilliant.
We also did a lot of high school and even UH marching band events on this field. 50th State Fair.
And of course, Pro Bowls for the past 30 plus years with us.
This section right here, this was baseball. It was awesome. Home plate was right there.
I remember when they was building it, was it early 70s? Visiting family relatives coming down here, I witnessed the construction.
We lived right across of this Aloha Stadium, and while they were building Aloha Stadium, we could hear the noise and all the hustle and bustle that went on.
Aloha Stadium opened September 12, 1975. We replaced the Honolulu Stadium, which was closer to the university. That was built in 1926. So really for Governor Burns to have his vision of the Aloha Stadium was something very unique at the time. We were the first stadium in the United States to be able to be movable.
I remember coming here for Major League Baseball, San Diego Padres and St. Louis Cardinals in a regular season baseball game at Aloha Stadium. And you know, that happened in the spring, and then just a few months later, I was here for a UH football game, and it's back to the football configuration. That was ahead of its time. Ultimately, it didn't last, and maybe the versatility of the stadium added to some of the life expectancy being cut down for this place. But for while it was working and while it allowed for it to happen, that's what added to the allure of this place is that you can see so many different things here and have so many different experiences.
The fastest island as well, and we're underway with the Hawaiian Supercross.
Our staff, we have a small group for full-time, and then our part-timers, I like to say, are the heart of the stadium. There are ambassadors of Aloha.
First started working in 1975 when the stadium first opened. Fresh out of high school, just graduated in 74 from Pro City. Said, okay, be an adventure, because I like sports. I think I worked every position here except the locker room.
I was so fortunate to work with so many broadcasters whose voice were the soundtracks of these great moments in our state's history. And obviously it stands out on the list at University of Hawaii football games, where you had Robert Kikaula on the radio for a really long time before he transitioned to TV, and then Jim Leahy on television for so many years.
Hawaii won that game by a score of 13-0.
You add to that, Les Kiter is the person that founded the Stadium Stars project, and when I came into it, he was still a part of it. And so he was the very first person to welcome me here into Aloha Stadium.
So sit back and enjoy our young intern sportscasters, who have also become our stadium stars.
We made it to the point where Aloha Stadium meant something at that time. Aloha was aloha. From your heart. And that's what I'm gonna miss, is this. The sounds of everybody yelling, cheering. Lights all night long, setting up for a mud bog, super pool, whatever it may be. Helping the field crew. We would come in and put down the tarp, help set up plywood, set up the chairs, tie the chairs, did everything. You know, that's what we did, because we enjoyed it. That's what Aloha Stadium is all about. It's gonna be hard to say goodbye.
This stadium has definitely served its purpose. I know there's a history here of deferred maintenance and challenges with the structural steel and the Core 10 steel that wasn't supposed to corrode, but yet it did. Despite that, this facility has definitely served its purpose as a gathering place for not just Oahu, but Hawaii in general. And the average lifespan for a stadium is in that 30 to 40 year range, so it's even outlived that. So this place has served its mission, and hopefully the next one will do the same and even more.
The stadium was closed to the public in December of 2020 due to a combination of safety, maintenance, and financial issues. Its closure marked the end of a remarkable chapter in Hawaii's history. But the spirit of Aloha Stadium will live in the hearts of those who filled it with life.
The hardest thing about Aloha Stadium closing down was that nobody knew at the time that it was going to close down, right? You had that 2019 season that was awesome. The last UH football game that was played here in front of fans was the Bows beating BYU. How poetic is that, right? But when people left the stadium that night, they had no idea that they would not be back to watch an event.
We knew the stadium really meant a lot to people, and that's one reason we wanted to have closure for the stadium.
We had a lot of memorabilia set up, and the memorabilia spanned the entire 40 years of the stadium. And as people watched and looked at this memorabilia, you could see some getting choked up, because some of these people aren't with us anymore, unfortunately. And so that was very special to just watch and observe and just be a part of it.
I'm actually sad now, even though nothing's really happened to it just yet, because it's one of those things where you come home and you drive past and you can just look over your shoulder and see it's there. It's one of those parts that's woven into the fabric of our landscape.
Yeah, I dragged my kids here today because they haven't really played here or come to a lot of games here, and I wanted them to kind of just get the experience of knowing how iconic this place was and how much it meant to like my childhood and growing up here in Hawaii.
Like anything else, kind of stop progress, right? But we can always have those memories. So having this function today, I think the state did a good job in having this event. I know for me, all these years, this is the first time I came in this area, which is kind of cool.
Growing up, we loved coming to Aloha Stadium. I remember going to concerts, a lot of football games. I actually sang the national anthem here for one of my high school football games.
Well, we wanted to buy a chair because we want to have a piece of history. This building has so much warmth to it.
I brought all my kids and my wife, and we got to be on the field and take pictures. And that was special for me because I knew that my youngest would have never watched the game here and never will. I wanted him to experience that. Adding to that was, at that time, my father was battling cancer. He only had a couple of months left at that point, and it gave me a chance to buy stadium seats. He wasn't doing well at the time, barely talking, but when I showed him the seats, he was super excited and had a tear in his eyes because this is a special place to him.
The final farewell event day here at the Aloha Stadium, it was really cool. You know, it allowed me almost 20 years later from playing to come back and build a locker with some memorabilia, interact with the fans, like you said, see some old teammates, but just to sort of like be present and appreciate this place.
I mean, this place, if it could talk, you'd be surprised at the stories it could tell you.
I'm from the island of Lanai, and I went to Kamehameha schools. The ILH games were always so magical against St. Louis and Punahou.
The HHSAA Division II championship game that took place here in 2017, Lahaina Luna and Kona Vaiana. That game went 7 overtimes. It was the first game of the evening, and so we had 3 games. So we knew it was going to be a long night. But when that first game went 3.5 hours, we said, we're not getting out of here until tomorrow. But it was such an exciting game to watch, and I think everyone, we didn't want anyone to lose.
My favorite memory of Aloha Stadium was when we did our first concert here. It was huge. It was like 38,000 people, so it was crazy. For us, it was like going from a nightclub or a bar to a huge stage, and you couldn't believe it, you know? You're just going, wow, everybody's coming out for us.
Bruno Mars, Rolling Stones, the Eagles, Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson. I was on the second night, that was a Tom Hopper production, I was on from the stage, the very farthest seat, all the way at the very top row. That was the second night. The first night, I was reporting traffic from a Cessna 150 above the stadium.
I remember coming to the Michael Jackson concert. I'm telling you, hey, he came out, I think he came out of like the ground. He came up and it was epic.
I think my favorite memory would probably be the Celine Dion concert. I was in the yellow section, but it was still Celine Dion, you know, in Hawaii. And it was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm seeing such a big star in such a small place in Hawaii. But that's what Aloha Stadium does. It brings the big acts down to us here in the middle of the ocean.
There's a poster of war up there. I totally remember that. It was a really rowdy concert. There were people running onto the stage and people like pushing them off of the stage. But it was a great, great concert.
Oh, say, can you see
The national anthem in Hawaii Pono'i that Willie K performed, and I believe it was 2018. And normally, people stop and listen, but there's still a lot of movement going on because it's pregame and people are moving around. But that night, you could hear a pin drop, and everyone had chicken skin.
I think the best one for me was soccer. When Pele came, we were able to talk to him. Very pleasant, real easy to talk to. And then when I saw him on the field, I went, oh my God, I could never do something like that. But it was an awesome game.
I came out to a number of Islander games. I remember waiting right outside here. The players would come out and we'd ask for their autographs.
It's like family, it's like the gathering place. That's what Aloha Stadium was. It was the place where Hawaii could come together and cheer and celebrate. And you know what the biggest event was? It wasn't even a concert, it was graduations. How many schools have graduated in Aloha Stadium and people could say that they actually walked the line and got their diploma in there?
There's nothing better than game days right here at the Aloha Stadium at home.
I've never seen snow, but I imagine the first time I see falling snow in my life, it's gonna remind me of Aloha Stadium and just seeing newspaper come down after Hawaii scores a touchdown.
I was at the very first game at Aloha Stadium. It was Texas A&I and the University of Hawaii.
I used to come here in the 80s when I was going to school at UH. One of the things that was changed now is they never used to check for bags. So, local people like save money, right? So we stuff in all our snacks, juice, soda, zip pack.
Colt Brennan was my favorite player.
I think the 2007 UH football season was a memorable year. It was fun because the entire state came together to follow this team that went undefeated.
I think one of the most things that I will miss is the tailgates and the football games thereafter, and just the electric atmosphere of watching the games live here.
We sat section MM, red, second row, seats 1 and 2 for my father and I. So I'm about 6 years old in 1988 and never missed a game after that until I started working. And then I was still coming to the games, in a professional level. But that's where we sat. The same people sat around us every week, became family, right? People that we are not related to, that we don't see at any other time of the year, yet they're so much a part of our family. That's how special this place was and how it bonded people, it brought people together.
This is for the record. Into the end zone, touchdown! And the record has been set.
Probably the best memory I had was giving my father the football during the game. When I broke the yards record, Ty Detmer's yards record, they stopped the game, and my dad was wearing the red hat, and he's the TV official guy on the sidelines calling timeout. So, I didn't have to give him a ticket for the game. He had the best ticket, being right there on the sidelines.
BYU was a thing. If we could beat BYU, we was good.
Stevenson up the middle, Stevenson, touchdown! Is this the year? You better believe this is the year!
This stadium rocked. And I mean, we would sell out, or close to a sellout, several occasions. But when it came down to BYU, this whole place was sold out completely. We had people hopping the fence. We had security having to patrol the whole gate, because everybody was just trying to get in.
BYU game, 2001, talk about, one of my greatest, not just college, but football memories as a whole. That day was a movie. It really was. The energy was unmatched. It was so loud. If I could describe Hawaii football in a day or in a moment, it's that game. BYU, Hawaii, 2001. That was it. If I could live in that moment every day, I would.
I don't know if there's a place in Hawaii that just by walking into it brings back as many memories as Aloha Stadium. And for me, I think it adds to it that my father is no longer with us, and that's who I probably spent the most amount of time here at Aloha Stadium with. But it's a very special place. I grew up here. I created dreams here. I chased dreams here. I lived dreams here.
Thank you, Aloha Stadium, for being the host where people can gather and have shared experiences.
I just want to thank the Aloha Stadium for all the years that I have been able to work here, but also to play here. It's so humbling to be a part of a historic facility.
Thank you, Aloha Stadium, for giving this local boy a platform, a dream, that thing that seems so impossible to do. Thank you for giving me that opportunity to push for that, to get here to play in this wonderful place.
Thank you, Aloha Stadium, the staff, everybody who came here. It was a good ride. I enjoyed it. Like I said, made a lot of friends, saw a lot of things. I just enjoyed myself here. My 47 years of Aloha Stadium. It was great. I would never change that for anything. Never.
Saying goodbye to Aloha Stadium is bittersweet because it was more than just a venue. It gave you the feeling of being part of something larger than yourself. That's the hope for the new stadium, as it's being reimagined for future generations.
It's hard to let go, but then there'll be time to build some new traditions for young families when the new stadium gets here.
When the stadium comes down, I will be sad. I feel like it's a part of me, but I'm excited about what the future holds in the new stadium. And I hope the new stadium will retain some of the magic that this place has.
I remember going to the old stadium, Honolulu Stadium, and I remember as a small kid walking under the bleachers and people dropping their peanuts. And so I'm gonna live to see the third stadium, which is kind of cool.
I hope that when the new stadium does get built, whether it's on this same site, further down in the parking lot, or wherever it may be, I hope that people will come, utilize the facility, and try to have that same feeling that we had here.
My grandson is into sports, UH sports, So we'll be here for sure.
It is bittersweet to see the stadium come to an end. The history of it, the events, the energy, the games, everything about it is going to be missed. But the sweet part is, for me and everyone else that's played here and everyone else before, you know that you're part of creating this Hawaii football buzz. And going into the new Aloha Stadium, the updated, the modern, whatever you want to call it, I think that's something we need to all look forward to.
The University of Hawaii is special to people in Hawaii. We're loyal fans. We're going to come to games. And once a new stadium is here, I hope to be here too. Hope to last long enough to see a whole bunch of UH games here as well.
I'm hoping with the new stadium that we can provide better service, better technology, and a better fan experience.
Our vision is always to make sure that we take care of the people of Hawaii, the community, no matter what we build, whether it's an entertainment district, a stadium, a combination. We really want to make sure that we are giving what the people want.
This place in Aloha has come to represent so much of our shared histories. Not only did I grow up here, but I feel like my kids also grew up here. And I like to think that with the new Aloha Stadium, my grandkids and their kids can one day have some of the same experiences that we had and potentially be able to live right next door as well.
What we envision in the new Aloha Stadium, starting with 31,000 seats, and yes, no benches, with club lounges and a hierarchy of seating arrangements that gives the community a lot more choices to enjoy their field events.
I had the privilege of being on headset with Jim Leahy, my dear friend for 13 years. During a time of UH football, when every game was pretty much sold out. And the pride was so palpable throughout the whole state, not the least of which was the 50,000 people we would put in there. You know, and when everybody used to come to the games in those days wearing a headset, you could feel it. It was incredible. All the people here deserve that. Future generations deserve that. The kids who will come and play here deserve that, and all the other people.
I just hope that it represents Hawaii. I hope that there's lessons to be told or stories to be told when you're walking in the concourse, and I hope that some of the old Aloha Stadium is on display at the new Aloha Stadium, because it's such a special place. And I know it's gonna look different, it's not gonna be as big, there's gonna be a lot of different quirks to it, but I really hope that there's an opportunity to honor the Aloha Stadium and for what it did for over 4 decades here in this state, becoming as much a part of Hawaii as anything else, especially from a venue standpoint.
Mahalo for joining us. PBS Hawaiʻi continues the tradition of storytelling thanks to your generosity. If you'd like to support our mission, please visit pbshawaii.org and click on the donate button. For Homies Here, I'm Kala'i Miller. Ahui ho.
If you look around the stadium, all the ramps up on the top, the walkways, when they started stomping, the bridges would go boom, boom. So if you were walking, your foot did not hit the ground yet, but it was coming up to you. And a lot of people says, what's happening? You know, something's wrong. And I went, no. I said, the stadium will move with a lot of movement. Everybody's pounding, cheering. You know, the stadium does move.
First thing that comes to mind is running up the spiral walkway. When I was a kid, it was like when we got here and I had that ticket stub in my hand, that was the first thing I was gonna do, was just start sprinting up that spiral staircase or walkway. The food, definitely, I mean, you could smell the boiled peanuts and the nachos, and I mean, when I think about it now, I can still smell game day. The last one is, I'm sure this happens at every stadium, but I'm not quite sure that people get as excited about this as Hawaii people at Aloha Stadium. The dot race, where you had the red, yellow, green, blue, right? And it would be like in a media timeout or whatever it is, and the dots would be racing around the track. People used to get lit. I mean, they would be turned over like red, red, yellow. And that's a core memory for me at Aloha Stadium, is that when you see that dot race, that's prime Aloha Stadium right there.